Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today. It is The Valley Business Today, Front Royal Warren County edition. So I am sharing a Zoom screen with Niki Cales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. It is so weird, Niki, because we've seen each other in person a couple of times. Now that we're both fully vaxxed, and being back on the Zoom screen seems weird.
It is weird. I was thinking that earlier, just before we logged on. This is going to be strange. I couldn't remember, the last time that we've done a show.
I remember the last time we did a show live.
Oh, I do too now. Yeah. So yeah, my mind is a little blurry, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, that was our infamous Flip the Script show.
And I promise I'll let you come back live. I'll let you come back live at some point.
I still get a lot of compliments on that, even though I think we're 2 months removed from it now. So,
but
I still hear about it.
And now the biggest issue is that so many of my guests, I have access to so many different people that they want to do it this way over Zoom and pre-record it because it's scheduling. It's not even now so much about being in a room with somebody. It's trying to get their schedule to gel with my schedule to get to the studio. So, I mean, this is kind of the perk to the upside, a silver lining from COVID.
Well, and I think we've talked about this probably a couple of times now, but I don't think that things are ever going to be exactly the way they were. Now that we've opened this door, we talked about this with like businesses that do curbside and those sorts of things. Once you've opened that door, you can't close it again. You can't stuff the genie back in the bottle. And it's the same thing with Zoom meetings. There are a number of people that I know that I'll probably never get to a committee meeting ever again. So I'll have to always have a component, a Zoom or a virtual component to allow, because folks, when you can sit at your desk, whether it's at home or whether it's at your office, and you eliminate that drive time, the to and from, and how that interrupts your workflow, then it makes sense. I totally get it. I mean, I couldn't do it all day myself, but I get why it's so attractive to folks. And I just think that we're going to have to get used to this being a part of our life from now on.
The other piece of that too is, how many times have you left the chamber office to go to a meeting somewhere only to get there and realize you left something on the printer, or you forgot to take something with you, and you don't always carry your laptop, and not everything is always accessible on your phone. That's the other perk to being able to do it over Zoom at your computer, where you can immediately put your hands on a piece of information if you need it.
That is so true. Yeah. And there've been numerous times that exact thing has happened to me, that I have, I think it's happened to me when I've come to the radio station before. I've printed out all of my notes and that sort of stuff, walked out the door, left it on the printer. And, then what do you do? So there's lots of advantages certainly to meeting in this way. And, I think, we might as well just settle in and get used to it.
Well, I will tell you, before the dogs came into my life, I moved my printer to next to the front door. Just so it was the last thing that I saw before it wasn't the prettiest thing in the living room
Yeah.
was having my printer sitting there. But
Uh-huh.
then the dogs came along and they thought it was a toy. And when it would start rolling paper out, then they wanted to
Yes.
grab the paper and it became a whole thing. But
Mhm.
when the dogs came, I didn't leave the house anymore. So it didn't matter
Right.
where the printer
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. You were then chained, inside the house. So you had that. Yeah.
Well, so let's talk for a second about something we've talked about in the past that I think is a good middle ground for people that want to still do Zoom and people that want to do in person stuff. How is Herb doing offering these new business services for the chamber?
So that is going very well. Herb is seeing a couple of new clients a week, which is terrific. And the different topics that he's discussing with folks, the different clients that he's seeing, some folks are entrepreneurs who haven't opened a business yet and aren't sure that they want to, so they're just trying to decide if that's something for them. Then we've got folks who've been in business for 15 years who are either talking about adding a component to their business, or they're talking about opening a second location, or they're talking about a move. So there's so many different topics that he's discussing with business owners. And it's been really interesting for me to hear about all of the different, issues that are out there and what people are doing. So it's going really well. Still has room for folks. So, again, anybody who, whether you haven't opened your business yet, whether you're a new business owner, or whether you've been in business for a really long time, and if you've been in business for a really long time and you're just thinking about bringing in a new product line, and you want someone, who's totally removed from your business, has no, has no dog in that fight, and you'd like that opinion, give us a call. Let us get you connected with Herb and give you some help out.
The other thing too that I think the pandemic may have quickened a little are a lot of these business owners that have been in business for 20 or 30 years and they've decided, you know what, I probably should have let this business go
Hmm.
5 years ago, and they
Yes.
didn't. And the pandemic was this glaring, hey, this is just way more than I really do want to retire
Hmm.
and be done with this. He can help businesses figure out the smartest way to close, because if you don't close up your business the right way, that can have some long reaching personal effects.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not as simple as just closing the doors. And so fortunately, we have Herb. And then, of course, we have Jim Martin with SCORE. SCORE has a great webinar focused simply on, closing your business. So that's it. That's a very good example, Janet. And folks who do have that particular issue that they'd like to discuss, we certainly have resources for them.
I know of two businesses that have decided to close after we're on the other side of this pandemic, but only because they wanted to open new, totally different businesses. So that was why I thought of it, because it wasn't that they were just done, but they had a whole new direction they wanted to go in and couldn't figure
Uh-huh.
out how to incorporate that into their existing business. So they were going to close the existing and start fresh with something new.
But, well, that makes perfect sense. I um, again, another conversation I think we've had before, but one of the, if we can ever find bright sides in COVID, is that COVID has allowed us to rethink everything. So if you decide that you want to close a business and start a new one, there's not a lot of people who are questioning that, because COVID is just sort of, to a certain degree, it's wiped the canvas clean, or wipe the slate clean. And so we can all really start from wherever we want to right now.
And people don't have to be members of the chamber to take advantage of these services and have these conversations with Herb.
No, they absolutely do not. No, the funding that we're using to make this possible, we're supplemented through CARES Act money that was received by the town of Front Royal. So we are in a partnership with the town to provide these services.
And I know when Herb was on the show with us a while back, his big thing that he wanted to make sure people understood was the confidentiality piece of it.
Yes.
That this conversation that you have with him does not go any further than the client and Herb, unless the client needs Herb to reach out to a bank or something on their behalf. But
Right.
he was really adamant that we make
Yeah.
sure we let people know this is very, very confidential.
Right. Yeah. Nobody but her gets names of the businesses, or, the contact information. What we'll see and what we'll hear about, of course, are numbers, the data, about, what the issues are and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it is absolutely confidential. You have no worries about, your business being spread all over town, that sort of stuff. So it's a really good opportunity for folks, and you should take advantage of it.
And I will tell you, I've known Herb a very long time. I'd like to think
Uh-huh.
I know how to, for lack of a better word, maybe manipulate him to a certain degree as his marketing person for many, many
Yes.
years when he had Daily Grind. And he had
Mhm.
mentioned something about he was working with a new business
Uh-huh.
on our coffee break a couple of weeks ago. And I tried every question I could think of, every way of trying to get him to tell me what that new business was.
Uh-huh.
And that man was like a clam. He
Yeah,
would
not
not open
happening.
up, it would not tell me anything. I was like, well, just nod your head or turn your camera off or, all
Yeah.
the things that I had seen them do on Law and Order, and none of them worked with Herb.
Yeah. It's not happening. Yeah, he's not giving up any information.
Well, I know we're going to go to break in a second. Before we do, can we talk about an in person event? Because it is a really big deal that schools are going to be in person this
Yes.
year and new teacher reception is coming back.
Yes, absolutely. We are so excited, overly excited, I think, for this event. The school system reached out to me about a month ago and said, "Hey, we want to do the new teacher reception. We're hoping that you guys will want to do the new teacher reception again. We're gonna, go in person. You're gonna be able to have vendors, all that stuff." And we were all in really quickly. I probably said yes way too quickly, actually. I seemed a little overeager. But Wednesday, August 4th, noon to 2 at Warren County Middle School. We'll be welcoming what it looks right now to be 60 new teachers. That number may change a little bit one way or the other. We'll have a pretty firm number July 1. But as in previous years, we have opportunities for folks to donate things for the bags. If you have an item you'd like to put in the bags to gift to the new teachers, and then of course we have opportunities for sponsors, for folks to set up a display table and be there to interact with all of the teachers. So we hope that people will jump on the bandwagon and help us welcome these folks back and wish them a really good year after this last year, which has been very difficult for everybody.
And this new teacher reception is a great marketing vehicle.
It
I
is.
mean, these teachers, some of them don't even live in Front Royal, Warren County. They may be from Frederick County or
Right.
Clark County or Shenandoah County or any of our surrounding areas, but they're going to be working every day in Warren County. So they're going to
Mhm.
need places to go get lunch. They may want to find a dry cleaner that they could
Mhm.
drop off and pick up on their way to or from class or any of that kind of stuff. So this is a great way for Front Royal, Warren County businesses to really get their names in front of some of these teachers that may not be familiar with what's going on in that community.
Oh, certainly. So the last few years, a very large bulk of the teachers that we've welcomed to the community have been from Pennsylvania. So these folks, they have no connections here. So they're looking for everything from their bank to their hairstylist to, you name it, they're looking for it. So you hit the nail on the head. This is absolutely a terrific opportunity to get yourself in front of these folks and, gain new clients.
And from a goodwill perspective, I mean, if your business can align yourself with healthcare workers, because we all know how
Mhm.
much they went above and beyond during this
Yes.
pandemic, and teachers, that's just a
Mhm.
smart thing to do from a marketing
Sure.
perspective,
Sure.
especially if you absolutely believe in what teachers do.
Mhm.
It just, it checks all the boxes and it's just a good thing to do all the way around.
Of course, I would agree 100%. Yes.
So, how do people reach out to you if they want to be involved in that somehow?
Okay, so they can get the information on our website, of course, frontroyalchamber.com, through our Facebook page. And folks are always welcome to reach out to me. So you can call the chamber office, which is 540-635-3185, or send an email to info@frontroyalchamber.com.
Awesome. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, I know there's been some buzz about special events. So I'm hoping you can give me the lowdown on that. And leadership program is also coming back. So can we talk
Yes,
about that in the next segment?
I do. Yes.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. It is the Valley Business Today, Front Royal Warren County edition. I am on the screen pre-recording with Niki Cales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. We're going to come back and continue our conversation in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/Quick Money Chat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/Quick Money Chat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday. As you are listening to the show today, it is the Valley Business Today, Front Royal Warren County edition. So that means I am pre-recording with Niki Cales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. And Niki, we went to break and I joked and said that there had been some buzz going on about special events in the town of Front Royal around the gazebo, most of all. That's where people typically want to do a lot of their special events. There's some town meetings coming up. I'm just confused over how this whole thing works. Is the chamber in charge of this or no?
We are not. No. The town is going through a process right now where they're trying to solidify the policies and procedures for special event permits, and revamping that special event permitting process, and even revamping the permit itself. And so there's lots and lots of stuff on the table, and they're trying to make it work the best for everybody. So they're trying to decide exactly what that is. So in doing that, they have drafted some policies and procedures. It's a working document. And so they have 2 meetings coming up, 2 opportunities for folks to hear what they're currently working on, to provide feedback, and then, and watch the process as it moves forward. So the first of those meetings is happening on Thursday, the 17th, from 10 to 11 a.m. And it's at the new pavilion in town, which is in the gazebo parking lot on the corner of Main and Chester Street. So that's the first opportunity. And then the second opportunity to hear what they have and share your feedback is Monday night, which is June 21st, at Town Hall in the second floor conference room. And that is from 5 to 6 p.m. So I would encourage folks, anybody who's with a nonprofit, anybody who has a local business, anybody who coordinates events, I would encourage you to attend one of those 2 sessions to hear what the town is thinking, to hear what their policies and procedures, the current versus what's proposed, so that you have a really firm understanding. My belief is the more folks that attend and have the information and are involved in the process, the better off we are on the back end, because you have to have buy-in, right? You have to have buy-in, and you have to have everybody moving in the right direction, or not the right direction, have everybody moving in the same direction. And so I think it's really important that folks participate, share their feedback, and hopefully we can have more people who are happy with the outcome, and we can move forward.
Well, the big deal too is that if you have ever had an event on Main Street or downtown in the last 5 or 10 years, say you didn't do it in the last year or 2 because of COVID, but you fully intend to come back maybe later this year or in 2022. If the people that are putting these policies together don't know anything about the event that you used to have, then how you did it and what your setup was, and whether the whole street needed to be closed, do you need electricity, how all of that works, you got to give them them that information so that they can make the best decision based on all of the information, instead of, as you and I have seen, because you and I were part of that years ago when it was
Yes.
decided the Main Street would only be closed 4 times a year and these were
Mhm.
the once every quarter and all that sort
Right.
of thing. You can't really, I mean, people will complain anyway, because as we've learned, people will complain about anything for any reason, but you can't really justifiably complain, well, that's not fair, they didn't take my event into account, if you
Mhm.
didn't go tell them about your event and how it
Right,
works.
right. No, it's sort of like that whole thing, I use this analogy a lot, for people who don't vote. Well, then you can't complain. So yeah, go to the meeting, give your input, gather the information, and then, you can't make 100% of the people happy 100% of the time, so there will be people who aren't happy about it. However, at the very least, if you're going to complain, at least you have shared your input, so that, it's important to be a part of the process.
Well, and you mentioned voting. My big thing with voting is always to tell people to educate yourself. Don't just
Yes.
go vote for the sake
Mhm.
of voting. Educate yourself on who's running for office, what they stand for, and how does that align with your values and your morals. This is the same thing. Educate
Yes.
yourself now on what they're thinking so that you know also moving forward, because maybe you're going to have to change your event in the future if they decide that they're going to go in a different direction. So education and being involved are the two biggest things when it comes to local government.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. And don't rely on someone else to tell you what was said. That's the other thing. So, just like the whole voting thing, don't rely on those ads and somebody else telling you what it is. You need to be there, you need to be present, do your own research to get a full grasp, because what someone else perceives may not be what it actually is, or you might perceive it differently. So it's important for you to go yourself.
Well, because I'm going to ask a question to get the answer that I want, and your
Sure.
question might be different because you're looking for a different answer. So it really does
Absolutely.
make sense to be able to go and ask your own question to get your own answer and to
Mhm.
clarify that question, because how I ask you a question and how you interpret that question could be two different things too.
Right. Yes. Interpretation is everything.
It,
And we can all sit in a room and have somebody read us all the same sentence. And the likelihood of any of us interpreting it the same way is not very high. So
Communication and leadership, that's what it's all about.
yes, exactly.
And I throw leadership in there to make a somewhat of a segue into the leadership program, because
Yes,
it is coming back as
it
well.
is. I'm so happy. So when the pandemic struck, we were about just about 3/4 of the way through a class. And what that meant is we had 3 sessions left. And we had the opportunity, of course, to do those sessions over Zoom, but the leadership class. And those just are, it's not a program that I feel like you really get anything from over Zoom. I mean, it's great to have people, telling you things, but this is one of those things where you have to see, hear, feel, touch it, just be in the middle of it. So we opted to just hit the pause button and wait until we were at an opportunity where we could start actually having those folks in person again. Well, we're there, which is terrific. So we're going to start next month with the sessions that class missed, get those rolled out and get those folks graduated. And then in October, we'll kick off a new class. So I'm so excited about, these things that are so important to our community, educating the folks about the way the community works, the way local government works, what, the important sectors are in our community. And the fact that we're going to be able to start doing that again, I can't even tell you how excited I am about that.
So explain the leadership program for somebody who may not know what it is or how it
Okay.
works.
So it is an 8-month long program. And every month, folks study a different aspect of the community. So 1 month you'll be studying local government and all of that entails. So you get a really in-depth view of how your local government works. You'll meet all the movers and the shakers and the players and who's doing what. There's an education day. There is a Public Safety Day, which is, that's full of, all kinds of fun stuff and touring the jail and all kinds of stuff that people love.
Jerry Maiatico's hot air.
Yeah, Jerry Maiatico. Yeah. And then, different topics. So there's 8 of those topics. And so we move through the community. You learn everything about the way that it works. And my goal is that folks walk away and they are able to step out into the community and advocate for the community and how it works. And when, folks don't necessarily, aren't necessarily spreading the right message, we have folks out there that can say, hey, wait a minute, that's not how it works. And, then, some of our folks have gone on to run for public office, serve on committees, start new businesses, do all sorts of things. And they have a much better understanding of Front Royal and Warren County and everything good and bad about the community. And that's the beauty of it. So you can understand the good things and you can help enhance those. And then you can help work on the things that maybe aren't so great.
And it's only one day a month. It's not like you're having to do this a couple of nights a week for 8 months. This is one day a month and you are totally immersed in that particular topic.
It absolutely is one day a month. And what I've found with most of our classes is, they end up bonding and really liking each other. So they start spending more time together than that, but on their own, and certainly not, it's not a forced thing.
So how do people get information about that? Do you have the registration and stuff out, even though it doesn't start till October?
So that will be available July 1. I'm working on the schedule right now. So that'll be available to everybody. And again, on our website, there'll be opportunities. There'll be posts on Facebook, of course. And then you can, again, always email me at info@frontroyalchamber.com. Another way to stay abreast of what we have going on our website, there's a sign up link for our newsletter. So if you're not currently receiving our weekly newsletter and you'd like to, it's full of information about what our members have going on, as well as our events. You can sign up for that and then receive that in your inbox every week.
And that's cool too, because you don't have to be a chamber to get eConnections. You just have to be a chamber member to put something in eConnections.
Yes. Our goal is that, we reach as many people as possible to let them know what's going on.
So before we wrap up, what's going on with Wine and Craft?
Woo. So we're knee deep in planning. September 18th will be a Wine and Craft. Now it's a little different because, typically we have, we have the River and Brews Festival in September. And that's not going to happen this year, but we'll have the Wine and Craft Festival, and we're going to invite some of our beer folks to be there for that. And then, of course, our mead, all of our mead folks and are going to be here. So our local mead folks, our local beer folks, and wineries.
All Virginia wineries.
All Virginia wineries, of course. Yes.
And crafters and vendors and
food
people. Oh my.
It's very exciting. Very, very exciting.
And it's such a big deal. You have a whole separate website for that.
We do. Yes. wineandcraftfestival.com.
And I'm sure we're going to talk about it probably every single month leading up to when it actually happens. So I won't make you go into too many. We'll do teasers every single month and we'll talk about something new that's happening every month when you come back. How's that?
Yes. I like it.
Well, thank you for taking some time this morning to meet up with me on the screen and pre-record today's show. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
I will be back tomorrow. I'll have a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you a few minutes after noon. It is the third Thursday of the month. That means it is our Community Health Partnership Day. So I will be chatting with someone from Valley Health. So meet me back here tomorrow just a few minutes after noon.